Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela and I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady, and I'd like to welcome back all my old and all my new subscribers to this week's Whips and Bits number 71. Right, so let's start this bit with the boring stuff, which is of course our video catch-up. So, and this week's videos that came out to you were Max the Koala's video number 3. Okay, so it's starting to get easy now. That project of yours is starting to get a little bit smaller. Yay! Right, next video up was of course the humongous yarn stash. Now I will take this one down later and show you how I've got it all set up, and it may not stay that way for that long because you know me, I like to change the background around every now and then. Then of course we had our lives, one being on a Tuesday evening here in the UK and the other one being lunchtime-ish Wednesday afternoon. So if you want to have a nose at those, of course, remember the links will either be up here or in the description box down below, depending on how much room I've got at the end of the video, because I can only put 5 things in. That's pants. But anyway, let's get on to... Then of course we had our Throwback Friday, so this week was a little bit of fun for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Then an amazing thing happened on Saturday, didn't it? We had the crochet competition where you have the opportunity to win Max the Koala's kit, and that includes the yarn and the pattern, whether you want it printed out or in downloadable form, and a couple of extra little bits that went in the box. So if you haven't had a chance to do it, get over there, watch the video, answer the question. That link's definitely going up here. Right. So all in all, not a bad little week of videos, and definitely not as much as last week for you to catch up on if you haven't managed it yet. Right, so what's up next? Right, so a quick shout out. Jodie, I need you to email me, darling. You won a prize on the birthday live and you haven't claimed it yet. Now you know what that prize is, so make sure you email me and pop in the section at the top that it was from the birthday live, and then in your email tell me what it was. Alright, you've only got until Tuesday to claim it. Oh, time's cutting short. Right, so here's the real reason why that cheeky penguin is on show today. One, I'm doing a lot of recording for the Throwback Fridays, and we have finally got to the 12 days of Christmas, so I thought, hey, why not pop the penguin up in the background so that when you get to watch them next week, the week after that, you'll know what I'm going on about. And here's the bonus bit. I've actually updated a couple of patterns on my Ravelry shop, one being the penguin and another one being the Hearts of Hope. Now because the Hearts of Hope is such a small pattern, there's only like one line, I've just put it in as a pound. Okay, now the reason for this is that I know that some of you guys really want to support the channel and throw money at me. Well, sorry, I shouldn't really say it like that, should I? But you've asked me time and time again during the chats to make sure that I have the feature on so that you can send some money and stick a sticker up. But I don't feel that comfortable in doing that. So my thought was any of the patterns that are really, really small, I'm just going to put on the Ravelry shop for £1 a pop. Okay, and that way, if you want to support the channel and pop a little bit of money over to me, you can do it that way, and I still feel good because you've still got a pattern, even if it is a really diddy one. Okay, so that is the reason, and that one is there. But of course, as I said, the penguin is now up, along with a Max the Koala and of course our unicorn. So go and have a nose, because I may have added more by the time this video comes out. Now that leads me into our next section, which is your photos. So Friday morning I woke up to a photograph from our gorgeous Mrs. Bradshaw. I'm sorry honey, you know I call you that because I'm rubbish with saying your first name. Right, so she sent me a picture of her part work of Max. Now she she's a smidgen, or at least she was on Friday, a smidgen away from completing video number 2, which means she's soon to get rid of that annoying brown. Any of you that are making it will understand what I mean. It's a celebratory moment when you get to cut off that brown and just start working on the grey, because of course video number 3 is a lot easier. There is a more bulk colours in the row as you're going along, so it does actually speed up really nicely. So now I'm going to show you the photograph that she sent over to me. I'm also loving that shade of brown. Please tell me what colour it is if you can remember that is. I'm absolutely loving how you're getting on with that, babe. Now, for any of you that don't know, she's actually done video 1 twice because she had an issue when it came to the end, because of course it was the wrong way round when I recorded the video, but due to time differences and things like that, my email didn't get to her before she stripped it all back, so she had to start all over again. And I'm so super chuffed and really proud of you for sticking it out and carrying on and getting to the end of video number 2. I can't wait to see your picture at the end of video 3. And once she's finished, I will add the finished photo in, along with any of the details on yarn and hook size that she sends over to me. I got another picture. I got another one this week. This one came in on Thursday, and I'm going to go like this. Whoop. Because it was a penguin, but this penguin is a little different. I'll let you have a look and then I will tell you all about it. Now, I've done my normal with this image. I don't open the images until I'm ready to record, so I'm bringing it up now so I can have a nose. There we go. Right, so Tailpin, or Tail as I like to call you, because I'm cheeky and I never get your name quite right. I am absolutely loving it. The fact is, you've changed up the colours for your option A and your option B are 2 shades of green. Not received a green one before. You're the very first green penguin. And you've also added in the green for the candy cane border, which I think really works and definitely pulls it in and just completes the blanket. I am loving it. Your stitch work is so neat, honey. Can you send me some lessons and some tips? Right, so a quick little side note, with any of my pattern tutorials, always check that drop down box, because if there is any issues with the pattern, or what I've said is wrong and I haven't picked it up during editing, or even if I have now, I will put any corrections in the drop down box. So of course, if you're making it and you're struggling and you think you've gone wrong, but you've tried it a couple of times and you realise it's me, fire me off an email or put a comment into the comment section. I will not get upset. If anything, you are really helping me out. So then I will help you through the problem that you're having and put that in the drop down box, so the next crazy that gets on with the pattern won't have the same issues as you, because I'll have checked that box. Now won't you? Now it's time for completed whips. That's right, I've done one, I've finished it. Now I did show some of you in the lives on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, but here it is. Here is a top for my sister. On my adopted big sister, and this has got no pattern, okay, and this was not my pattern initially. There was a lady on Facebook who had put a picture of hers up and she'd made it with a really cute thin cotton, and I'd asked if I could copy the pattern, so she gave me the pattern repeat details and said run with it, have fun. So I did, but I changed it up, of course. I used a DK yarn and was it a 4mm hook, so it has come out quite large, which is what I wanted, because my big sis, I wanted something light breezy that she could either have loose, have open, or tighten up, depending on what her mood was in, what mood she was in. Right, so how did I form this pattern? I started off, get your notepad ready gang, get your notepad ready. Right, I started off with a double crochet, a foundation chain. Okay, and I did that in multiples of 2 for the length that I needed, for the width that I needed. Okay, I started from the bottom and worked my way up and over and back down. Okay, so I repeated my pattern, this section here, and I worked the pattern up until I got to where the pattern would sit under the breastbone or under the boobies. Okay, then I ran the pattern up to the shoulder. At the shoulder point I did 2 solid rows of a double crochet. On the 3rd row I got to where the shoulders were and I put a chain in. Okay, so that gave me my gap in, and then I carried on the row by joining the chain and carrying on till the end. So I chained 1 chain per stitch I skipped. Okay, then on the return leg I went into the tops of my double crochet and then I worked into the chain. Twice I did this, and twice I mucked it up. The 3rd time I just gave up because my stitch count had increased by 2. So I carried on going and thought, oh well, who cares? It doesn't matter, which in this big scheme of things, it didn't really matter having those 2 extra stitches around the neck. It made the neck hole a little bit open, and it means that one of the panels is a smidgen bigger. So if my sister needs more room to cover the girls, she can. Or if she's like me and she needs to cover the booty, she can swing it round and have that larger panel on the back. And nobody's going to know because there's only a small little 2 stitches out. Or 2 stitch increase, I should say. So shh, don't be letting on my secret. Right, so of course once I got past the collar, I then reversed the pattern and did the repeats all the way down. So it starts with the large section of green and then works into my stripe and then carries on working down. So here's your cheeky tip. The stitches you're going to need are for these sections here. It is a double crochet, a chain 1, skip 1, pattern repeat all the way along the row, and then my purple rows are just double crochet. That is it. That is how simple it is. Okay, the pattern break, the break here is of 5 rows of the first lot of stitches I mentioned. Okay, and this one here is however many you're going to need to go from the boobie up. But you are going to have to sit there and do a little bit of math, because by the time I'd finished this, it now comes to her knees. So bonus, a definite cover-up knee that she wanted. Maybe not quite as long as this, but you never know. She says she loves it and she's happy with it, and I'm happy that I've shifted a couple of more balls of yarn out of my stash from under the table, because the yarn I used was the Audi DK, and of course I'm not going to be really planning to use that in any tutorials from this point on. So I'm just using up the colours and making random items, which of course my gorgeous friends are stitching me up with and going, Ange, can you make this? Ange, can you make that? Which I absolutely love, because it gives me something to show you girls at a later point. Now, another thing I forgot to mention was I hate sewing, as you guys know. So we discussed it and she decided that she didn't want the sides sewn. Although from a distance they do look a little bit sewn together, they're not. What I've done is I've attached a ribbon underneath the arm and I've weaved it backwards and forwards, okay, all the way down the length, and it ends with a little bow near the bottom. Now, when it goes to Bestie, that ribbon's getting removed because Bestie has already chosen the material that she wants to run down the side to hold the sides in. So I'll be taking that out and she can fix it and she can put it back together again. Right, so here you go. Here is your little look closer. So this section here, of course, is the double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and that's all the way along. And there is just your rows of double crochet. Okay, here is, oh crikey, the side section. Hopefully you can pick that up. I used black because it was the only ribbon I had, and I hoped it would stand out against the purple There we go. And of course the border section at the bottom, I forgot to mention that completely, didn't I? Oh, now I've got to count it up and work out what it was. And for the border I went all the way around with a 1 round of double crochet, following it up with a row of single crochet. And as if by magic it's back up on there again, because that thing weighs a ton. It's not the top that does, honey. It is Dory. I think she's put on some weight. Now it's time for what all of you have been waiting for. I know it, I really do. It's time to draw the winner of our gorgeous Reggie at BY Hook Crochet's pattern. That is for, oh dear, your copy of her pattern. Here we go. Sorry, I took it off of Dory too soon, didn't I? Really took it off of Dory too soon. It is, of course, the Stars Hollow Crochet Cardigan. So what I'm going to do now is leave a break in the video and put the winner in a second. Yes, this camera is back up and ready to pick our winner. Now, I have actually already picked the winner. I tried to be all clever and smart. Hubby set me up a new method of doing it, which meant I could record my screen, and there's a little box of me in the corner. When I went to put it into my editing software though, it doesn't want to read it. So what I'm going to do is basically record that video on this camera, and I didn't want to redo it because it's not fair on the original winner. Right, so and let me flick this camera around for you. Right, so here we go. Fingers crossed that this is working. Right, I've got my random comment picker open. I'm coming over here to copy my URL. Your brain is seriously not working today, gang. Right, let's paste that one now into the search bar. There we go. Now, before I did all this, I actually counted up all the comments, and I double checked them all to make sure that you have all added in the text. So I don't need to write in Reggie is cool, which is cool because she is, and I don't need to write it. Right, so I am removing the filtering the duplicate users, because of course that'll end up being me. I am not going to include replies because of course that gives me a higher chance. Okay, so everything is going correctly. Right, so let's get our comments. There is 29 puns. One of them is me saying that the competition's closed. Right, so here we go. Good luck, everybody. And the winner is Jodie. You've gone and done it, honey. You say Reggie is cool, Cuddy is pretty. Well, guess what, honey? You're now going to get the pattern, so you can make one yourself. Right, so what I need you to do, of course, is stick a message on the bottom of here. Fire me off an email. Jump through all them horrible loops that are described in the drop-down box of this video. And then hopefully you'll have your pattern by the end of today. Congratulations, darling. So congratulations, winner. Remember to claim your prize. You are going to need to leave a comment in the bottom of this video, as well as send me an email with your details. Hopefully it will arrive really quickly so you can get on with your own cardie as well. Aha! So I finally finished videoing and recording all the sections I needed for the whips and bits that had the Christmas stuff into it, so I can now show you a bit more of the yarn. Yes, I'm going to have to move Max over a bit so you guys can see all of the colours there, but what I did do is put Max over the majority of the bright yarn because it is blowing out my cameras. It's that bright. But I tell you what, I am loving looking at this now and sort of seeing what colours I've got to go with what patterns, and of course soon there'll be a new one up, but you've still got Max video number 4 to get through, so I've got a week or so to play with, haven't I? Please say yes. Right, so I'm recording this bit now and keeping everything crossed that I can put this section into this week's video. If not, you're going to notice I'm wearing the same outfit as I did either last week or the week before or the week before that in the whips, bits and chat, because I'm making it once and I'm going to stick it in whichever video I'm allowed. Right, okay, so as I said to you a few weeks ago, I was making a new stuffy and I'd actually completed it. Now this was a test for our gorgeous YOH crochet. So of course you guys know this is my second pattern test for her. The very first one, I will sneakily bring him down, was of course a Miko's Yeti. Okay, now I thoroughly enjoyed working that pattern. So when she said, I'm looking for another pattern tester, I said, oh, shove me the pattern over, girl, I'll get to it. And I have. Now there is a little story behind this one. I got in at the beginning and of course I'm testing the pattern, so I'm reading through the pattern and working my way through it, and I'm doing that as if I'm a new crocheter. Okay, so I have to second guess every bit of that pattern, and so as I'm working it through, I come across a section that just didn't read right, but I did it anyway, just on the off chance that it was me being a bit doolally and not the pattern. Well, I did it 3 times because I was only working on one of his arms and it just didn't work. So I stepped back and I looked at it, and as somebody that's made one of YOH's patterns before, so I looked at it and I'm like, oh, dopey girl, she's right. So the first typo I spotted was for the hands and feet. It was quite a simple one. She'd put increase instead of decrease. Nothing major, nothing worrying, but she did blame the dog for typing it up wrong. She sounds as bad as me. She is. Right, so once that bit was done, I then moved on to working the body and the head. So, no, sorry, I started the head. So I did the head, I finished the head, and that bit was lovely and easy. Then I moved on to the body. Well, what I didn't do was read the pattern properly, because of course not all new crocheters do that. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. No, I was just downright lazy and didn't bother reading the pattern notes. Right, so I've made the body up. I've actually added the arms as I went. I did ask if I could use that technique, and YOH said that is perfectly fine because she knows I hate sewing. So I'd added the arms as I went, and I wrote some notes out for her in case she wanted to add that in. And I've got to the bottom of the body and I've stuffed the body, and I've realised I've not got enough rows. And so I've added a couple of decrease rows in. I thought, okay, it's possibly another mistake on the pattern, because of course it is only her first or second draft. No, it was a mistake on my part. I made it upside down because I hadn't read the pattern notes. So with this pattern you make up the body, but then you attach the open end to the head. It gives it a bit more stability, whereas with me I didn't do that. Of course I made it, closed it, had 2 bits and squidged it all together. So I must admit I did giggle away, but by this point YOH had finally come in from work and I'd finished it, and I've sent her pictures and she said it looks lovely, and then I've told her about the pattern issue and she told me I'd done it upside down. To be honest, he still looks absolutely and utterly gorgeous, so I am bringing him in now. So this is Jojo, and Jojo is a bumblebee. How cute, look, with his little wibbly wobbly legs and his cheeky wibbly wobbly arms, where you only stuff the end, you don't need to stuff this bit, which is why it makes it easy to attach it in the round. Okay, with his cheeky little antlers. Alright, and I love the face details on this. She's made it ever so easy to give some real definition to his face, just with the little extra bits of white added into the eye. And then when I sewed the eyes on, what I did actually do was I sewed them on properly first, and then I squidged, and once I'd squidged, I then sewed some black yarn through one eye and out the other, and then backwards and forwards a few times to pull it in so that it keeps the shape. Other than that, the pattern, oh, and the fact that the body's upside down, other than that, the pattern's exactly the same as hers. So if you would like to grab your copy of this pattern, the links to her shop will be in the description box and down below. I'm sure you are going to have so much fun making your very own jojo, and definitely won't make as many mistakes as me. But as I said, I was pattern testing. Oh, and the extra special bit, look at the cute butt. Now, I don't know what it is about all YOH's patterns, but they are all enough posers when you get them in front of the camera. Oh my, I nearly forgot. Right, so, and now I've got some breaking news. Right, so if you hadn't had the opportunity to join in or catch up on the lives this week, you won't know. Our gorgeous Louisa at the Secret Yarn Stash is now offering kits so that you can make your very own Max the Koala. Now, normally I say to you, I'm sorry, it's only opening to UK and all of Ireland. She's now decided that if you are desperate to get your hands on the kit or any other yarn from her, fire her off an email and a message to find out what the weight would be for your parcel. Then she'll be able to give you a quote, and then you can choose to either go ahead or not with the purchase, because of course postage prices are still very, very high. But if you do decide to do it, please hit that affiliated link so I get a couple of extra points towards the poppy colours. But as I said, now remember, Louisa has not only got all of this beautiful colour choice here, okay, and not only the kit, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring Max down. Oh, everything's going to fall off. But she also has more yarn. Lots more yarn for you to get your hands on and play with. So as I said, if you're up for purchasing yarn and you're okay with paying the postage costs, then pop over using the affiliate link down below, and then hopefully you'll be able to grab yourself either a Max the Koala kit or something else, and some extra nice squidgy stuff. Right, I'm going to have to leg it because I've got to get on with this wedding album and get it finished. Yes, I totally forgot. I am so bad. Right, I will see you all really, really soon. So if you can, please stay in and definitely stay safe. Ta-ra for now, everybody.